Okay, let's try this again. What's up, y'all? Happy uh, Texas Democratic primary or Texas primaries Eve. Let's talk about them because Kamala came out and endorsed Crockett. You know, birds of a feather fly together. Snakes, rats. The rat nest is I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, I was watching NBC's coverage. They're talking about how the polling shows different, like there's a lot of different polling results, and that's because depending on who the pollsters are targeting, uh, you're going to come out with different results because you know so many people vote for the couch. That could be motivated by James Tallarico to come out and vote for James. Republicans could be motivated to come out and vote for James. Um, yeah, but among the Democratic base, Crockett is still leading, um, mostly because she has the party establishment backing her, and uh, you know, identity politics works. So white Christian guys can have a tough time earning the trust of people of color pretty often because, you know, it's a well deserved reputation for us whiteys at this point. You know what I mean? Ugh, God. Anyway, let's finish this.
Get over there. But look, there's a lot of suspense here in this Democratic race. There has been polling that's shown
Like and
Crockett ahead. There's been
subscribe.
polling that's shown her ahead comfortably. There's been polling that has shown Tallarico ahead here. So no one really knows what to expect here. But a couple dynamics are pretty clear in the polling. One is that Crockett is doing extremely well with the black vote. About 1 out of 5 votes in this primary are going to come from black voters. Her political base is around Dallas. That's where her congressional district is. And there's a lot of black votes in that area in particular. So can she run up the score there? Tallarico's political base is right here around Austin. He's in the state legislature. He's doing well, very well with white voters in polling, particularly white college educated voters. So, a lot of the area around Austin there, you see a lot of those types of voters. I think the Houston area is going to be a big sort of swing area in this primary tomorrow. And I think it's Hispanic.
What do you say about Austin? Fuck.
So can she run up the score there? Tallarico's political base is right here around Austin. He's in the state legislature. He's doing well, very well.
Oh, yeah. Because Austin's the most progressive and actually politically engaged part of the state. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not true, but it's where I don't live.
With white voters in polling, particularly white college educated voters. So,
Yeah. I wonder why. Maybe it's because he's saying the good things that, whatever. Those people, maybe it's because those people pay more attention to what each of these candidates are saying and who's backing each candidate and where the money's coming from. Crockett's taken a fuck ton of APEC Israel money. Um, and she's getting the party establishment to back her. Whereas James Tallarico is a progressive guy who has a pretty decent background and work history, regardless of whether he's made some mistakes or disagreeable compromises or even a betrayal in the eyes of, local Texas organizers.
A lot of the area around Austin there, you see a lot of those
Anyway.
types of voters. I think the Houston area is going to be a big sort of swing area in this primary tomorrow. And I think it's Hispanic voters. There's been polling that has shown Tallarico way up with Hispanic voters. There is.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be tough to call that, I think. I think Tallarico might win that, though, because of his last name and his more Christian style of messaging. Because a lot of, God, I don't want to generalize the group, but, religion still runs strong in a lot of parts of the state. And faith-based communities are still very much mobilizing their people to go vote and campaign for whatever candidates,
There's been polling that's shown Crockett ahead with Hispanic voters. That's, I think, the big wild card here. How is the Hispanic vote going to break? Take a look at El Paso, a good chunk of votes out there. Take a look all in South Texas along the border, up into the coastal bend here. I think how the Hispanic vote breaks may end up being what determines this primary tomorrow.
And you can watch Steve on YouTube all night tomorrow night as he breaks down.
Tallarico's also trying to make sure he gets the youth vote out.
That. Ryan Chandler, thank you as well.
Talking about going on TV to talk about gun violence. That's good. I think this is the lady that might have. I don't know. I want to watch this one because.
Early voting began last week, and so far, more.
TV actors, dude. Y'all should quit your jobs. We'll see.
More than 1 million votes have been cast. In-person election day is coming up on Tuesday, March 3rd. For a look at how this race is shaping up, we have Kayla Guo, politics reporter for the Texas Tribune. Kayla, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Kayla, we have to start with the Democratic primary race for Senate. We have a lot of eyes on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico.
Whatever. I just hate it when, whatever, fucking politics reporter pretends they're unbiased, Like, okay, I guess you don't believe in human rights. You know what I mean? That's cool. Thanks. I should listen to you as a reporter then, because that means you're unbiased if you don't think people should be housed, fed, and educated regardless of their background. Anyway.
Especially after that recent moment on Colbert. All of this nationwide buzz is one thing, right? But it's Texas voters who are going to decide this race. What does polling data show us so far?
Whatever. She wants to keep her job, I guess. Ugh. Coward. Whatever. That's my opinion.
Polling has honestly been sort of all over the place in this race. There haven't been a ton of public polls, but I think the most recent public surveys show Jasmine Crockett leading by something like 9 points overall in the primary. But the poll before that had the two of them head to head, and the one before that had James Tallarico ahead by several points. So it's really hard to guess where the race is at. I think.
You gonna explain why, or just insert narrative and forget about it?
Just based on vibes, it feels sort of head to head right now. I think both of them have had shifting momentum going into early voting. And like you said, we're a week into early voting. And
okay, let me explain why. It's because it's really hard to poll Americans nowadays because people are so disillusioned with the political process that, you know, most people just opt out altogether because they know their politicians are fucking them over. You know?
Soon we'll know. And I feel like this is a surging amount of votes for early voting, like for
or they
primary
can
election.
they can feel how their lives have been getting worse and worse, and how the political process has degraded over time. Well, I mean, it's already been pretty. It's always been pretty terrible in the U.S. You know, a genocidal settler colony empire. Or genocidal settler colony turned into global fascist empire. So, you know, whatever. What was it? What were we talking about? I mean, let's go back.
Where the race is at. I think just based on vibes, it feels sort of head to head right now. I think both of them have had shifting momentum going into early voting. And like you said, we're a week into early voting and soon we'll know. And
to me, it feels like Crockett's lost momentum, and that's why Kamala came in. So, I don't know. I don't go watch Crockett's interview. I haven't gone to see any of Crockett's interviews, to be honest, but you know, it's all flair, like everything I've seen from her is just all flair, no substance. Because if she actually had substance, she wouldn't be taking millions of dollars. Like, right? She's taking like millions in AIPAC or Israel lobby donations, I think. Let me check that real quick. Is it in my, I think I taught, yeah. Rogue DNC talked about it. Not millions, but $86,000. Bruh. That's not even that much. That makes her Israel position even more insane. The fuck?
I feel like this is a surging amount of votes for early voting.
Well, I
like
guess
for
it's a decent amount for a representative or for a whatever. You know, senators are going to get a lot more.
primary election, which is historically low. I feel like this is kind of unusual to have this many votes so early. And now there is a TV ad running right now claiming that Republicans want Jasmine Crockett to win the Democratic primary. But what are you hearing about?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Why wouldn't? Yeah. Republicans are definitely threatened by James Tallarico, I think. Like, he's a white Christian guy that's knows his scripture damn well, and you know, can cut through the idpol bullshit the idpol bullshit shield that Republicans always use to defend their bigotry.
About that from political insiders. I think Republicans have made no secret of the fact that they would rather run against Congresswoman Crockett.
Yeah, I wonder why. Because she's a fucking loser, dude, and she's phony.
reputation is, this partisan warrior. And I think that's why Democrats love her so much, is she's such a
Well, I guess I'm not a Democrat, dude.
fighter for Democrats in the House of Representatives. And I think to Republicans, they think that makes her an easier opponent to face in November. So they haven't been quiet about that.
Wait, what?
The fact that they would rather run against Congresswoman Crockett, her reputation is, this partisan warrior. And I think that's why Democrats love her so much, is she's such a fighter for Democrats in the House of Representatives. And I think to Republicans, they think that makes her an easier opponent to face in November.
No. Ugh, God. Not at all, dude. Ugh. You're a politics reporter? The fuck? This analysis is garbage. No, Republicans think she's an easier opponent because she has no policies back. She has no actual substantive policies to run on. Like, James Tallarico is at least saying, like, hey, we can house, feed, and educate everyone in Texas. And that's what I want to do. And inspire people to go out and try to push for that. Fuck, I need to listen to what Crockett's like. Let me go see what a fucking. Let me go see what Crockett says in her media hits, or her most recent media hits. I haven't been checking, but like, what she's known for is just being like, it's like rage baiting Republicans in Congress. Like, that's it. Let's see. Okay, let's see.
Joining me now is the Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. She's a member of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committee. She's running for the Democratic primary in for the Senate in Texas, which is why we booked you to be on our show, and we always appreciate your time, although the news has overtaken that story for the moment. So I want to get your view, largely as a member of Congress, because we have had wars in that part of the world that have ended up being a real cause of loss of blood and treasure. We can have a debate about whether we should be having a war with Iran, and we don't really have much of a debate about whether the Iranian regime is a bad regime. But Congress was not. We can have a debate about whether we should be having a war with Iran, and we don't really have much of a debate about whether the Iranian regime is a bad regime.
They're bad, dude. Yeah, they're the bad guys. Ugh, fucking children, dude. Ugh, these people are disgusting. Yeah, dude. The RERGC are the bad guys. Let's debate about whether we should blow up their country. This is MS Now, by the way. Ugh, fucking, ugh.
But Congress was not asked about this.
No, we were not, and that's the problem. There are people that will land on all sides of this conflict and what should be happening or shouldn't be happening. But
yeah, what should be happening is none of this should be happening, and y'all motherfuckers don't want to recognize the reality that we're basically just starting another fucking forever war quagmire. For no other reason other than resources, attempting imperialist domination of the Middle East. And it's all being driven, the car is being driven off the cliff by Bibi Netanyahu, who's basically got Trump on a leash. Anyway.
One thing that I want to remind the American people of is that we have a Constitution. And frankly, as members of Congress, we have sworn an oath to the Constitution as well as the president. And right now, what we are clearly witnessing is lawlessness yet again from this administration. And my question.
Okay, good.
to my colleagues in a very serious way is, will you put aside your loyalty to this orange man and
No, they won't. And you should know that. You work with them.
actually focus on your loyalty and your oath to the Constitution, which says that only Congress has the power to declare war? It is time to rein him in a bipartisan way.
And
The only reason Republicans will come join the Democrats on this resolution is if their donors demand it.
do you think that that kind of bipartisan support exists? There's actually a lot more bipartisan support recently in Congress than we had grown to expect over the course of the last year. Whether or not this is about approving a war, it's fundamentally about Congress asserting its role as the branch of government that is constitutionally allowed to determine whether war occurs.
That's exactly right. And listen, Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have been working together quite often on bipartisan legislation, including the Epstein files. And so they do have a war powers resolution that they have been working on together. And I do know that Ro Khanna has made it clear that he wants to bring that to the floor on Monday. My question to Speaker Johnson is, how many people are going to have to die because this president just decided that he was going to do whatever he wanted to and to ignore our congressional authority and our congressional powers? I don't think that we should wait till Monday. And this is being said as someone who literally has an election on Tuesday. I've got to make sure that I am doing what I swore an oath to do as a sitting member of the House. And I think Speaker Johnson needs to call us in right now, and we need to deal with this right now.
Okay, well, at least she's trying to get people to take it seriously.
Authorization for the use of military.
So kudos to her for
that. Force, which was passed in 2001 in the wake of 9.
But what the fuck are you doing with your Israel position then? Did you change your mind on Israel? Like, how is this the same person who's like pro-genocide? How is she pro-genocide but saying this about the attack on Iran, about our attacks and the fucking, us terrorizing Iran?
9/11 has been sort of stretched and extended, largely allowing the president certain powers as it relates to certain terrorist groups, named terrorist groups. It didn't name ISIS, but it's been legally thought to understand ISIS. It does not extend to the Iranian regime, whatever one thinks of the Iranian regime. You're a lawyer. At some point, if the administration wants to make a case about why America should be bombing Iran, there are lots of places to make that case. I do want to remind people, the president has not gone to Congress asked.
Yeah, bro. We should have the right to bomb this country if we decide it's fair. Oh, God, Americans, dude. Look who's cooking dinner. Unlimited G word on the first world.
For an AUMF. This is not even a debate technically that has happened in Congress.
That's correct. I mean, and here's the thing. I was concerned when he went into Venezuela because I said that because of the cowardice of our Republican colleagues, this was going to give a permission structure for bad behavior. And that's exactly what we've seen. Now, we know that he's been flirting with this. In fact, it was last weekend that I thought that he probably was going to do this because he has a history of doing this right on the weekend when we're not in, when we can't ask questions immediately and demand a briefing immediately. And so it is understandable that people have whatever issues that they have with Maduro, just like you stated.
Yeah, Trump's not the one directing the ship, though. He's just a fucking kitty with a, he's just like fucking old King Joffrey, you know what I mean? Old pedo-billionaire Joffrey.
People have whatever issues they have with the regime that is in control over in the Middle East. But the problem that we have is that you are not following the law. Like, that's the issue. If you feel as if you have everything that you need to actually engage in these types of actions, then why is it that you aren't coming to Congress? That is the big question. And my argument is that because it's not, that you don't have the legal authority. When you go out on your social media platform, you say things like, well, they interfered with the election. That is not a reason to go and drop bombs and kill people and risk the lives of...
As if America didn't interfere in Iran's elections. Or has never interfered in Iran's sovereignty by overthrowing Mossadegh because they wanted to nationalize the oil, or put those resources back into Iran, reinvest in Iran with their natural resource extraction industry. No, America kind of fucked that up. then we installed our guy, who was like a brutal fascist, liberal fascist dictator. Or neoliberal fascist.
The people that have sworn an oath to protect this country. Right now, people's sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, mothers, and fathers may end up being thrust into a war because of his maniacal issues as relates to an election at the same time that he is flirting with us not even having elections.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you for your time this morning. Again, I'm sorry, I want to talk to you about the Democratic nomination in Texas.
Okay, well, that wasn't bad. Let's see what Kamala
Trump,
says.
Abbott, Hancock, the conservative team securing the Texas border.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett got a boost to her Senate campaign from a big name in the Democratic Party.
Hi, this is Kamala Harris, and I'm calling to encourage you to please go vote for my friend Jasmine Crockett. Texas has the chance to send a fighter like Jasmine Crockett to the United States.
Dude, this is AI. What the fuck? She didn't even record this? What the fuck, dude? That's AI voice. No way. What? She didn't even have the decency to bother recording her own. Oh my god, dude. These people are fucking demented. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
Hi, this is Kamala Harris, and I'm calling to encourage you to please go vote for my friend Jasmine Crockett. Texas has the chance to send a fighter like Jasmine Crockett to the United States Senate.
And that was a clip from a robocall from former Vice President Kamala Harris endorsing Congresswoman Crockett. The
robocall. Oh, okay. They just called it a robocall. Yeah, oh, God, dude, what the fuck is going on in this country? They couldn't record her saying that and just put that in the... Like, what is wrong with this lady, dude? She couldn't say those words in a convincing way? In a convincing enough way that they could just record it and put it in the automated calls? Ugh, God, dude. It's ridiculous.
Hit the phones of Texas voters today, and Crockett is facing off with State Representative
I don't know how these robocalls work, but I feel like, you know, you can record yourself just saying something for... Ugh, God, dude. They're such born losers, I swear.
James Tallarico in the Democratic primary race for U.S. Senate. And Tallarico has visited multiple college campuses this week to campaign. This is video from his visit to Texas A&M University earlier this week.
Oh, hell yeah.
According to his public schedule, Tallarico was campaigning in Edinburgh tonight, speaking to students from UT Rio Grande Valley.
Okay. Let's go back to the politics report.
So they haven't been quiet about that notice, which is an online...
Let's go back to the politics reporter who does terrible analysis for a living and is professionally wrong.
Site based out of D.C. reported that some Republican firms had sort of baited Jasmine Crockett into joining the race. She has said her decision's been based off of her own numbers that show that she can win. But yeah, Republicans have not made a secret of their desire to face her next in...
I wonder why. Because Republicans are so belligerent, they don't even realize they're shooting themselves in the foot when they do that.
November. And now let's talk about the Republicans in the Senate race, focusing on incumbent John Cornyn, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and Houston area Congressman Wesley Hunt. Time magazine said of this race, quote, "Boy, is it ugly down there in Texas." Cornyn does have a big advantage in the race and endorsed one of them over the other. He sort of did the exciting or one. I think
they're all a bunch of racist morons. Let them fight, dude. That's what I say.
And Christy Craddock, Railroad Commissioner. Why is this race getting so much attention this time? I think one reason is, like you said, Abbott's endorsement in the race. He really wants Kelly Hancock, who's a former state senator, to get in the race. Africa, who died in...
Why does she even... I hate how they treat these people like they... have a genuine perspective and aren't just fucking grifting, you know? Like, God. What? Stop normalizing this shit, dude. These people are, it's the Texas Taliban, dude. They're just fucking, all these people are like power hungry monsters that have no idea what they're doing.
In prison, had purchased his ranch in New Mexico after Epstein's suicide, which raises a lot of questions of what do you want to do with that ranch, and why did you buy it? And
wait, this guy bought Zora Ranch? That's crazy. Well, I guess the pedophile protection party is still in full swing, you know? I don't know.
What does it say about you? And so I think that brought this race sort of to the headlines and has been sort of a bizarre twist in the race. Indeed, it has. The timing could not be more bizarre. And has he responded to any of those questions? He has. He said he bought the ranch through an LLC during public auction, and that the funds went to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, right.
He said on social media after this all sort of bubbled out that
Bruh, that is so whack. Can you just call this guy a liar, please? Anyway.
he plans to turn the ranch into a Christian retreat and sort of give it a new life, though I do believe that New Mexican authorities are right now planning to investigate the ranch for possible crimes and evidence.
You think? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go into the conspiracy theory about what was happening at Zora Ranch, but let's just say it's some pretty crazy shit.
Evidence of crimes that were committed during Jeffrey Epstein's ownership of it. Indeed, I'm sure more stories to come out of this. Maybe this is a better question for after March 3rd. But once again, everyone is asking, will the state flip blue in 2026?
It's what was happening at Zora Ranch, maybe comparable to a chattel slavery type of breeding facility, potentially. Don't quote me on that though. It has not been proven yet, so
we'll statewide race. I think if any, all eyes are on the Senate race, and that's part of the reason why it's gotten so much national attention. One, you have two really prominent Democrats running against each other. It's a competitive race in a way that I think Democrats haven't seen in a long time in a primary. And I think the idea is that if a statewide office were to flip, it would be the Senate race, and it would help if, I think Democrats think it would help if Ken Paxton were the Republican nominee, but that still has to be shaken out.
I mean, yeah, it would, because Cornyn knows how to sit pretty, at least, and not, shoot himself in the foot like Ted Cruz does all the time and make people absolutely despise him. Cornyn's just cashing checks and casting votes and going on vacations and trying to stay out of the media spotlight like a smart, corrupt politician would do, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we will be standing by.
And Paxton is like a belligerent Texas Taliban fedayeen. He's been on a crusade to get weed out of the state, or at least replace the weed with shit like laced bullshit. You know what I mean? Potentially. People really don't like him for that.
To see how this shakes out, as will, I think, shockingly, most of the nation. Kayla Guo.
I don't know if the gas station weed in Texas is getting laced, though. Full disclosure. I wouldn't trust it if I were you, you know what I mean?
For politics reporter for Texas Tribune, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us.
Thanks for having me.
God. She gets paid to go on these shows? Ugh. That's crazy. Well, I mean, it's not, you know what I mean. It's fucking, it's America cacad, you know? Oh, you know, well, there's this white Christian guy who's saying he wants to help everyone, and this black lady made up a story about him being racist. So now the race is super close. Ah, fuck me, dude. I'm too tired to do this the right way, but yo, PBS, Austin PBS. If you want the answers to politics, let me on the show. I'll give you to them. I'll give it to you for free. I studied politics in college. Shit, I left my credentials in the car again. But anyway, I might be attending American University as a master's program, depending on if the people... I don't have much nice things to say about the faculty at American University, let's just say, but let's just say my perspective is pretty unique at these types of elite liberal institutions.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this video. And don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Austin Insight for free in the PBS.
All right. What else is...
Scribe makes step-by-step guides for any process with AI. You know what's terrifying at work? When you start a new job and there's no training. None of the processes...
Welcome back to Final.
Should we watch the Hills coverage, or...
Countdown to the primary election in Texas is upon us, and Democrats in Texas have a very big choice
Let's
to make.
watch the hog coverage.
I'm always nervous. The only polls that matter are the ones that we're standing at right here.
If you hate politics and you've never voted before,
I wonder if these people really think I never voted. Or, well, some people seem to have that impression in my comment section, at least. You know, like this guy. And then all these liberals who don't understand theory came in here and fucking like blah 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 blah. You mean social liberalism, not socialism, which is a completely different animal. There has never been real Marx socialism. That it is an idea. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? As if the USSR never existed, China never existed, Vietnam doesn't exist, like, Cuba doesn't exist, Venezuela doesn't exist, like, all these socialist states, you know, who recognize that a lot of their political ideology derives from Marxism. All these places exist, y'all. Anyway, yeah, you should go try to visit some of these countries instead of just, you know, blathering at somebody who's on your side. Anyway.
you have a place in this campaign.
The head-to-head matchup pitting Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett against State Representative James Tallarico has generated both energy and excitement among Democrats looking to flip a U.S. Senate seat blue for the first time in more than 3 decades. The late-breaking University of Texas poll has Crockett up 12 points. 50
I really hope that the University of Texas poll is bad. Oh. She gonna win this? I hope not. If she wins this, she's gonna lose the primary because she has no juice. You know what I mean? It's all flair for her. I don't know. Maybe she'll get serious one day. It seemed like she was getting serious about Iran, at least, in that interview she did.
56 to 44, but it's important to note that survey predated Tallarico's viral appearance with Stephen Colbert. For her part, Crockett has sought to blunt the surge by accusing the Austin State rep of hypocrisy, as in claiming not to accept PAC money while the airwaves are literally inundated with pro-Tallarico ads funded by so-called dark money, including cash from tech billionaire Reid Hoffman, a longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Tallarico countered by claiming he ultimately wants to outlaw the kind of big money blitzkrieg that's become essential to competing and winning in the Lone Star State.
It's why I think we need to ban super PACs. It's what I want to do in the U.S. Senate, so we don't have this kind of crazy spending in our elections. And what I think people want is comprehensive political reform to get this kind of big money out of our politics.
It has been clear that he has signaled to these outside super PACs that typically billionaires are the ones that are putting the money into. And so it does feel like hypocrisy. Are the ones that are putting signal.
Wow. Nice word salad. Anyway.
To these outside super PACs that typically billionaires are the ones that are putting the money into.
He has signaled
kind of big money out of our politics.
It has been clear that he has signaled to these outside super PACs that typically billionaires are the ones that are putting the money into.
Dude. What does that mean? What does that mean, dude? Ugh. See what I mean? She has no juice. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
And so it does feel like hypocrisy.
It does feel like hypocrisy? I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm confused.
Panel, only one of these Democrats can move on after Tuesday. How do you see this race, Paul Castro?
I think that Tallarico is coming from behind. I think that the turnout looks like it's going to be moving in his direction. Harris County alone,
I hope so.
Almost quadrupled the number of Hispanic turnout votes in the primary from 2 years ago. And African Americans went up about the same number, but not the same percentage. And so that's going to be interesting because Hispanics right now are turning 30% in favor of Tallarico. The other thing that's interesting is the vote has gotten a lot younger. The surge voters, people who voted 0 to 1 votes in the past in primary, that has gone up, I want to say 50%. And so you have 50% new voters who haven't tried this before. I think it's almost, Democratic turnout has doubled from 2 years ago. And it's going to be impossible for anyone to predict with any certainty. I think it's going to be highly entertaining, but where turnout is happening, I think it's going to be favoring Tallarico.
Sue, your read here.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I think what this is about is what message, what are Democrats wanting in their candidates, because they're two very distinct messages. I mean, there's nothing. The good thing about this is there probably won't be a runoff, I don't believe, so.
Oh, wait. I just need to put my headphones in. That's why. Okay. Fuck me. I'm so bad at this, dude. Anyway. Couldn't connect. Ugh, it's not on. There we go, maybe. Alright, I'm cold, so I'm gonna get in the fetal position for y'all. Like L from Death Note. Anyway.
That's the good news on this. I don't know. You know, it's a matter of turnout, and it's a matter of where the party's going, and so I really don't have any idea whatsoever. It's going to be interesting.
All right, Bill. There are a fairly large number of independents.
Come on. Connect to my goddamn headphones. Anyway, this is so busted. My stream is busted. You're busted, Buster.
Oh no! Voting in the Democratic primary, it looks like.
Well, perhaps. The Democratic turnout is remarkable here. The Democrats voted more in early voting than the Republicans did. That's the first time that's happened since 2008, and before that, the last time was
I think that's probably due to Tallarico.
1992. So this is very unusual.
You know, same as the last two, or the other guy's analysis.
And a lot of the people voting the Democratic primary don't have any primary voting history. And so we don't really know who those people are. My guess is that favors Tallarico, but I tell you what, I wouldn't pay much attention to the polling on any of the Democratic races because nobody models for this kind of a turnout in the Democratic primary.
Quickly.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's got it.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean, to Sue's point, I don't know what the issues they've been campaigning are, because every time you hear them, they're going back and forth with each other over comments that they made about each other or about other.
Is this guy high? Does he listen to anything James Tallarico's been saying in his speeches? I mean, yeah, bro, they'll talk, like, they don't just talk about each other. Like, even Jasmine Crockett doesn't just spend her whole campaign talking about Tallarico. Like, the note, God, dude. These people really just get paid to go on TV and blather. Ugh. How did you get your job, man? Like, I don't like Crockett, but I can acknowledge she doesn't spend her whole fucking campaign, like, attacking Tallarico. She at least has some policy issues, even if it's just like the Democratic Party line.
Groups of people, and so I don't know what this race has been about other than that.
So why are you talking? Why are you on this panel?
Other than about who is more electable than the other when it comes to running against presumably Ken Paxton in November, and so they should probably differentiate themselves a bit.
Ugh, God, dude. Fucking morons are running our media.
Jasmine Crockett was at a bar here in Houston on Friday, and there's this video of her cursing up a storm trying to get the crowd excited. I was just showing April. They did not care. They just sat there and stared at her. It was just.
Wait, what?
When it comes to running against presumably Ken Paxton in November, and so they should probably differentiate themselves a bit. Jasmine Crockett was at a bar here.
I mean, yeah, James Tallarico's been doing that in the last week, I've seen in his speeches. Talking about divide and conquer. And how billionaires are weaponizing the media to attack the First Amendment.
Here in Houston on Friday, and there's this video of her cursing up a storm trying to get the crowd excited. I
haven't seen Crockett do that yet. Maybe she'll pivot to that Maybe she'll pivot to that once she realizes, well, too late for her. Election day is tomorrow. she's still stuck talking about, gun violence, Democratic Party line issues.
Show in April, they did not care. They just sat there and stared at her. It was crazy. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
They just sat there. And there's this video of her cursing up a storm, trying to get the crowd excited. I was just showing April. They did not care. They just sat.
Yeah, because that's just flair and no substance. Like Mamdani, the reason people got excited for Mamdani is he brought substance to his style, Like he was doing something different, trying to be a leader. Jasmine Crockett's just, trying to make a name for herself within the box, in the box that she's put herself in.
Sat there and stared at her. It was crazy. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, the view from April Aguirre's world on this race.
Honestly, it doesn't matter because Jasmine Crockett is just another Colin Allred. Once their voting records get put out there, they don't align with Texas voters.
All right.
No comment on James Tallarico. These people have media jobs, dude. I'm stuck working fucking manual labor jobs. So I said genocide was bad. Ugh, whatever, worth it. Anyway.
Well, yeah, on a policy basis, they are pretty much mirror images. I mean, if you look at their...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know their voting records, but I know James Tallarico's been saying some pretty deep, radically different stuff in the last week than like any other major Democratic politic, well, other than Graham Plattner. Speaking of Graham Plattner, I saw he went on the Pod Save America. He went on Pod Save America and he was owning them. Finally, a politician that owns and gets it.
Their votes, so it's about who can win. The Commander-in-Chief touches down in Texas to tout and...
All right, let's do the Hill.
All right, it is midterm Monday, a little segment where we break down all the big races as we head towards the big one in November. This morning, we are keeping all eyes on the Lone Star State.
That's right. Texas voters will head to the polls for 2 competitive primaries tomorrow. Let's begin on the Republican side, where 3 current elected officials are facing off for their party's nomination. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, and Congressman Wesley Hunt are all running for the same seat, and all 3 lawmakers call themselves allies of President Trump. Paxton leads likely primary voters in a new Emerson College poll with 40% support. 36% of voters support Senator Cornyn, while 17% want to see Congressman Wesley Hunt in the upper chamber. 8% plan to vote for someone else.
On the Democratic side, voters in Texas are going to be deciding between Representative Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico. These two have presented dueling campaigns with different visions for the party. Tallarico has a 5-point lead over Crockett in the newest Democratic primary poll. His support is up 5 points, but Crockett's is up by 9 points since that same poll was taken in January. But let's go back to the GOP side, because it doesn't really seem like we're going to get an endorsement from President Trump in this race, which a lot of people have been sort of waiting on pins and needles, especially the 3 people who are...
No, I don't care about this.
And there are more dirty...
To doing right.
That's what is being put at risk as a result of the corruption.
I didn't realize how old he looks now. Jesus Christ, dude. He's a fucking ghoul. That's crazy.
And the baggage that Ken Paxton...
Retire, dude. Please.
...brings to this race.
All right, so things also getting a little spicy on the Democratic side, but Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, is the one doing the spice, I guess, or adding the spice to this race. Here's an ad that he put out that is an anti-Jasmine Crockett ad.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally.
To stop the radical Democrats, vote for Governor Greg Abbott. Common sense leadership that secures the border and keeps Texas safe and strong.
It feels like they're afraid of attacking Tallarico, or the Republicans are. And they're just going after Crockett because she's a black woman. Because they're like, they're too fucking stupid and bigoted to realize Tallarico's the progressive candidate in this race. They just read black woman as progressive, regardless of her policy positions. Anyway.
Now, the thinking here is that many Republicans want Jasmine Crockett to win this race because they think she would be an easier opponent to take down than James Tallarico, who's a bit of a moderate.
Yeah, so perhaps prop.
Oh my god, these people are so dumb. He's a moderate compared to Tallarico, dude. Or Tallarico's a moderate compared to Crockett. Do you even listen to, like, the things he says? Oh, god, dude. Tallarico's basically saying socialist shit just without using the word socialism. Ugh, these people are, like, at least in the last week he's been doing that, and, like, the speeches I've watched of his. God, dude. Ugh. These people have fucking media jobs, dude, to talk about politics. And their analysis is worse than, like, you know, their analysis is worse than, like, my fucking coworkers' analysis. It's crazy.
Propping up Crockett in order to ideally face her in the eventual election. We'll see what happens. Getting spicy.
See. But voting is starting, so that's good. That's good.
Okay. There any other cover? I mean, it feels like a toss-up right now, but I think Tallarico has the edge. That's my analysis, anyway. If I were a betting man, I'd put money on Tallarico, but I'm not, so do with that information what you will. Oh god, damn it, dude. My mic has been so quiet. I fucked up. Anyway. Thank you to the keyboard warriors that adjust the sound volume to listen to me. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to do this stuff properly. Anyway. Prayers up for James. Hopefully he can snag this and we can flip Texas. Because if he doesn't snag this, it's not happening. Because unless Crockett learns some real hard lessons real quick, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Crockett does seem kind of clueless as to how politics works for me, or like in my opinion. Either that or she's just phony. And she's still stuck in this, I don't know, dude. Let me go. Let me go see what has she been saying in the last couple days? Here's one.
Joining me tonight, Democratic Congressman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. Welcome, Congresswoman. You're in the full sprint to Tuesday. As you've heard, many have talked about the different polls. Some polls show a very tight race. But what's your sense on the ground as early voting wraps up, I think, tomorrow?
Yeah, people are fired up. I will tell you that the story that no one realized they were going to have to write is the influence of young women in this election. Young women have been very emotional about my candidacy and about this
Id Paul bullshit. Okay.
race. And so they are telling everyone, they're calling their moms, their grandmoms, their dads, and they're like, go vote. You know, I've been on Facebook.
Yeah, sure. As if James Tallarico is a threat to women. Anyway.
I'm talking to some of them. So that's really exciting and encouraging to see. But yes, you put up a poll that is all good. I need Texas to recognize that the last day of early voting is tomorrow, and the only polls that matter are the polls that you show up to vote at.
There could be more Democratic early voters than Republican ones, even though both races, they are competitive. But tell me, Congressman, what message do you think that sends about Texas and really the midterm electorate overall?
Yeah. You know, a lot of people thought I was a crash dummy. They were like,
I still do.
why are you leaving the House? Why are you running for the Senate? It's Texas. And I kept telling people that we have the numbers. We are voter suppressed, and there is a bit of voter apathy. But I was like, we can do this. And as you can see, right now, we have maintained a lead over the Republicans throughout the entire.
No thanks to you, in my opinion, at least. I guess the election results will show. The election results will either crucify me or vindicate me, but we'll see.
Of early voting. We'll see if that flips tomorrow. But this tells me that we have enough Texans who just haven't been voting. We are one of the lowest voter turnout states in the entire country. And I kept saying, we just need to turn our people out. We're really not that red.
Yeah, but you don't know how to do that, dude. That's the problem. Or, well, maybe she is turning people out. I don't know. She got viral. She has some viral clips from, I don't know, yelling at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Right? I mean, I don't think that's what's turning people out. You know what I mean? I think it's more so policy positions and trying to inspire people. Not just being like, hey, we have the numbers. Go out and vote, guys. That doesn't really work. You know what I mean?
And right now they are coming out in droves. And I'm telling everyone that I talk to, listen, this is great. But if we outvote the Republicans in this primary, I need y'all to understand they are going to do everything that they can in November to preclude us from being able to access the ballot box. So you're going to have to keep this energy and some.
You look ahead to November,
God.
it's the general election, and there are critics, as you know, who are arguing.
Okay, so we're already 2 minutes into this interview, and she hasn't even given us any policies she supports or what she's running on. It's just go out and vote. Republicans are trying to rig the elections or whatever. Yeah, that's going to work.
That even if you can win the primary, you can't win in the general. They've got Time Magazine asking one Republican lawmaker if he feared you or James Tallarico, and he was blunt, saying she can't win. He can. What's your response to this?
Oh, how did she react to that?
And he was blunt.
I mean, that's how I'd put it too. That guy at least knows what he's talking about, I think.
Saying she can't win, he can. What's your response to this assumption that you have a shortcoming in that area?
I mean, listen, I don't know who telegraphs who it is that they want to go against. I really don't. All I can tell you is that Right now, the governor of Texas is spending over $3 million specifically against me running ads. So it
Okay. Yeah, but they're all running ads to support themselves because they want to paint, they want to use you as the face of the Democrats because they think they can use you to alienate their working class voters from Democrats. That's why they're running ads against you instead of Tallarico. They don't think they can attack Tallarico without, you know, suffering some losses, I think.
doesn't sound like they want to go against me, but I do also know that the Republicans are very good at throwing bombs. They did the exact same thing when they decided to tell all the Democrats that, oh, Joe Biden is old and oh, he is senile. So therefore, you guys need to get rid of
He
Joe
was old and senile, dude. That's why he dropped out. God.
Biden. And so what did we do? We went ahead and got rid of Joe Biden. And at the end of the day, what did they do? They elected a old senile. We went ahead and got rid of Joe Biden. And at the end, therefore, you guys need to get rid of Joe Biden. And so what did we do? We went ahead and got rid of Joe Biden. And at the end of the day, what did they
We got rid of Joe Biden. Dude, he dropped out. He only dropped out after he was getting forced to. Like a month after that disastrous debate performance where he just embarrassed himself and the entire country. This woman is like, I don't know. I can't. Her face is like, kind of whatever. She's not. I don't think she appreciates what Crockett's saying here too much.
elected a old senile con man instead. So they love to kind of stir us up and have us decide to play off of their rhetoric. Democrats need to focus on the prize. We don't need Republicans telling us what can and can't happen. Instead, we need to do what we know how to do best, which is to send a fighter back to D.C. For everyone that is concerned about my voice being absent, we know the truth. We know that we can send me back to D.C. We know that Senator John Cornyn specifically said, if you choose wrong, we may lose this seat. We also
If you choose wrong about which choice though, okay, whatever. Like, what does that mean, dude? If he said, John Cornyn says, if you choose wrong, you may lose the seat. Like, or is he talking about Republican messaging strategy and interfering with the Democratic primary, or what?
also know that I am the only.
And also, like, why would Republicans be doing attack ads against her in the middle of a primary when they're not running against her right now? Maybe it's because they want to make it so that voters think she's the progressive candidate in this race that's actually challenging Republicans instead of James Tallarico. I mean, that's my mind games theory behind the attack ads against her, at least.
Democrat that is consistently polled ahead of a Republican in multiple polls, both internal as well as independent polls. So listen, forget all the noise. The reality is that we can do whatever it is that we put our mind to.
Okay, and what is that? You gonna list any policies? Let's see.
Many people did not think that we would flip that Senate seat in Texas, but we swung at 30 points. Many people did.
We haven't flipped the Senate. You mean the Texas state Senate seat? Like a state house Senate seat? Or what? Like, what? Okay.
Didn't see a black woman being elected the mayor of Leander. There was a +4 Trump seat, but she swung that seat 17 points. So listen, forget all of that. and mind your business. I'm telling everybody don't mess with Texas, and we're going to do what needs to be done.
Will you change?
Oh, God, that's just a whole lot of nothing, dude. This is the biggest nothing burger interview I've ever seen. Or, well, maybe not the biggest, but it's definitely feels like one of them.
Your approach on Tuesday if you win, because you'd have to bring in obviously more than just Democrats who have not been voting. You'd have to pull independents as well to win that Senate seat. Do you have what it takes to do that?
I do. The University of Houston polling that came out right before this most recent poll, it showed.
Let's just talk about the polls. Let's not talk about how we're going to do that. The polls say I'm right. So therefore, I must be right. I don't know.
That I do really well.
Time will tell, I suppose.
With independents and Republicans, actually.
You're doing well with independents and Republicans? Doubt.
So I do think that depending on who the nominee is, different groups may be more inclined to come over here. But at the end of the day, we're going to continue to talk about the things that unite us and not divide us. And frankly, whether you're a Democrat.
Okay, so what are those things? Because so far I haven't heard you talk about any of those things in this entire interview. Just been hearing you talk about the horse race politics you're experiencing.
Democrat, Republican, or Independent, if you feel as if your paychecks are too short, then you've got a spot over here. If you feel as if your rent is too high, then you have a spot over here. If you feel as if you don't know how it is that you're going to ever be able to afford health care, then you have a spot over here.
Dude, okay. So she's just pointing out problems and telling people, hey, if you want these problems fixed, vote for me. But is she going to offer like a policy solution? I don't know. Let's see.
So that, I mean, we're focusing on very simple messages, and we are not going to allow.
Like, too simple, though. That's not a message. That's just pointing out a problem and complaining.
The culture wars to become the conversation.
You leaned into the culture. Oh my! I do not. I do not like this lady, dude.
Instead, we're going to focus on what is actually impacting our lives. And I think no matter who you are, right now things are looking kind of bleak.
You know, you mentioned.
No kidding, dude.
A couple times now, Governor Greg Abbott. I know we're sort of on time, but running for re-election, not for Senate, by the way, but he is spending a lot of money on the attack ads against you. Do you think that people who are saying and suggesting that Republicans want to face you in November because they believe you're somehow easier to beat, what is your reaction to that?
If they were really wanting that, I would think that the governor would hold on to his money and not spend it in the primary. That's what would make sense. But I mean, you can either follow the money or you can listen to what they say. And the last time I checked, a lot of the Republicans have been lying. So you can trust the primary.
Sorry, I zoned out.
That would make sense. But I mean, if they were really wanting that, I would think that the governor would hold on to his.
Wait, what was her question?
Senate, by the way, but he is spending a lot of money on the attack ads against you.
Okay.
Do you think that?
It's a question about the attack ads. Republicans spending attack ads on Crockett. Why would Republicans be spending attack ads in the middle of a primary? Spending money on attack ads in the middle of a primary. They're spending money on attack ads to attack an opponent they're not running against. Why do you all think that is? Maybe. In my opinion, I think it's because they want to bolster her image in the Democratic base by convincing people that she's the right choice if you hate Republicans and all the bullshit going on right now. Anyway, I'm fucking tired. Let's finish this interview. I'm gonna go to bed.
People who are saying and suggesting that Republicans want to face you in November because they believe you're somehow easier to beat. What is your reaction to that?
If they were really wanting that, I would think that the governor would hold on to his money and not spend it in the primary. That's what would.
Exactly. They're not spending it on you to attack you. That's the reason. They're spending this attack ad money on you to help your image, unironically. That's what you call a theory. A game theory. Whatever.
Would make sense, but I mean, you can either follow the money or you can listen to what they say. And the last time I checked, a lot of the Republicans have been lying. So you can trust them now if you want to. But the reality is that I don't know who drops $3 million right before the primary to attack someone that they really want to run against.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you.
Yeah, because they want to run against you. They're trying to scare Democratic voters into voting for you with these attack ads. I don't know. That's my theory behind it.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm too tired to keep thinking straight. Like and subscribe for more updates in gaming, in politics. I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing this shit till I die, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, pieces.